Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, regardless of where you are, it's always a great time to study the gospel, enlightened by Spiritism. Today, we're going to be talking about chapter 71 of the book Our Daily Bread, which is titled Shake the Dust Off. Before we begin, I'd like to thank Kardec Radio for opening up their platform, or I should say, their many social media platforms for conversations just like this one. Before we begin, let's close our eyes in prayer and thank the Lord for so many great things that we receive. Those daily blessings, they come to us. They come to us as our nourishment, as the water that quenches our thirst, as the smile of our friends, as the help from our neighbors, as the embrace from our family members and loved ones. So many great things we receive every day. We should be thankful for those, appreciate everything, and make the best of everything that life offers us. So be it. So today we're going to be talking about chapter 71 again of the book Our Daily Bread. Daily Bread. It is titled Shake the Dust Off, and it's based on Matthew chapter 10, verse 14. It goes like this. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that home or town. So this is a very interesting passage here, because actually Jesus was referring to a custom of the time, that if you were not welcome somewhere, if you're not well received, then you would shake the dust off, which actually means you would sever ties with that place, sever ties with that individual or those individuals. And then Emmanuel expands the message as follows. The disciples materialized the teaching of Jesus themselves by shaking the dust off their sandals and departing from this or that rebellious or impertinent place. Still, if the symbol from the master's lesson was intended to be a simple mechanical gesture, it would be merely a group of empty words. So Emmanuel is referring here to the fact that the disciples, they were instructed by Jesus and they followed what was recommended again by the customs at the time. So if you were not well received somewhere, you would shake the dust off your sandals and walk away. But as everything that Jesus implied to us, it went beyond that. Emmanuel explains here that the teaching, however, is much more profound. It recommends the elimination of the sickly yeast. So this is very important. Again, of course, the teaching is a lot more profound. It recommends the elimination of the sickly yeast, meaning it recommends the elimination of any kind of rancor that we might have towards whoever has mistreated us. Emmanuel continues, to shake the dust off the feet implies the elimination of any bitterness or inorganic residue from their lives due to the ignorance and the perversity that is encountered on the road on our daily experiences. So this is very important. So to shake the dust off the feet implies the elimination of any bitterness or inorganic residue from our lives. So again, so if anybody mistreats us, if anybody is not willing to welcome us, if anybody is ignoring us, if we do not feel appreciated by someone, so we should shake the dust off, meaning we should not have any kind of grudge, any kind of anger toward that individual. And that's also in the previous statement. Emmanuel refers to it as the sickly yeast. The sickly yeast, meaning that sensation, that internal sensation of hatred towards somebody, that internal sensation of bitterness, which is like an yeast, like a sickly yeast, something that stays inside of us, but not only stays stands still, it actually expands. So Emmanuel explains to us that again, we should shake off with us, we should eliminate any kind of bitterness or residue from our lives. So we should remove those impressions from our lives. And he mentions here, due to the ignorance and perversity, we encounter ignorance wherever we go. Uh, we ourselves are ignorant because we are still in the path of learning, in the path of development. So we're going to find ignorance wherever we go. So, and perversity as well, because we're living in a world of trials and atonements. So there's, we're, for the most part, we're about the same level. And just because we are imperfect, everybody else is imperfect, just like as we are. In the same way, when we do not always behave in the best manner, we are not always, we are very merciful, we're very righteous. Other individuals, our brothers and sisters, they make mistakes too. Um, and they're sinful the same way that we're sinful as well. That's the way it is, and we're going to encounter this on the road of our daily experiences as we are here on earth, both incarnate and discarnate. We're going to find that, and it's part of our road, the road of our development, the road of our improvement. And the interest choice of words here by Emmanuel, when again he mentions a road, because a road is a place where you walk. A road is a place where you grow. Emmanuel continues here, indicating that it is logical to have the desire to comfort to others the seeds of truth and righteousness. Of course, we want to share with our brothers and sisters what we think is right. We want to give advice. We want to talk about whatever belief system excites us. However, if we are received with hostility where we are visiting, it would be unreasonable to continue a long discussion in notations. That, instead of being conducive to opportune success, creates shadows and difficulties around us. So it is very interesting here that if we have received the hostility, and if the whoever is that we're trying to communicate, if it's not receptive, on the contrary, actually has an aggressive posture against us. So why should we continue having discussions? How should we continue having trying to send a message, to communicate, to transfer knowledge? So because it's not going to be conducive to success, but it's going to create shadows and difficulties around us. Because again, we're going to be allowing others to be hurting us. We're going to be allowing others to themselves get compromised with the laws of God, but doing bad things to us by hurting us, by berating us, ignoring us, shaming us in whatever man, etc., etc. So why give those individuals an opportunity to again not act according to God's laws? And on the other hand, as well, we are imperfect. We're still growing. So it's also why go through additional suffering. He mentions here shadows. So shadows and difficulties. So again, why should I add those shadows, that sadness, that bitterness, that additional difficulty um, around us in our lives? The menu continues indicating that if anyone does not receive your goodwill nor perceive your noble intention, why waste time in bickering? Very good comment here. So if people are not noticing, quote unquote, that we're trying to be good, if people don't notice that we're trying to do what's right, why have an argument with people about that? It's a waste of time. Such attitude does not resolve spiritual problems. To ignore the fact that the one that denies, as well as the indifferent person, will also be summoned by death of the body to our country of origin. So again, regardless of who we're trying to resolve, regardless of where you're trying to what trying to convey our ideas, if we're trying to do what's right, Sooner or later, that individual who is a immortal soul, just like or just like I am an immortal soul, and I am incarnate, and that individual is incarnate as well. So sooner or later, everybody, right, myself included, yourself as well, we're all going to be in the spiritual world where we're going to have a wider, a more overarching view of life and the universe. And then whoever it is that we're trying to convey an idea, whoever it is that we're trying to communicate, is going to have a different perception. And not only this incarnation, we are eternal. So sooner or later, what is right is going to become apparent to our brothers and sisters and to us as well. So Emmanuel indicates here that commend them to Jesus lovingly and proceed on a straight path, seeking attainment for your sacred objectives. So again, if we feel that, right, if we're trying to say something positive to someone, if we're trying to convey something good, also if you're trying to help someone who does not understand or appreciate my action, so instead of again trying to insist in bickering and trying to forcefully convey our point of view to an individual, then we should commend that individual to Jesus and love in a loving manner and proceed in our straight path, proceed doing what is correct and seeking attainment, seeking to fulfill any sacred objectives that we have. Emmanuel here in the end reminds us that there is much to be done in the spiritual edification of the world and in you. Shake therefore the incoherent impressions and march ahead joyfully. So again, there's so much to be done in the edification of the world. There's always, if people are not appreciative of what we do, if people misinterpret our actions and our words, so again, there's so much more, so much, there's always so much work here to be done in the world, in the universe. So why let that hold us back? Why that allow that to bring sadness to us? Again, there's so much we can do for in the world, in the universe, and to other people, and especially here in us. There's always something so good that we can do for us, for our own betterment. Again, so why let any experience that we've had with our brothers and sisters hold us back? So that's what we say. Shake therefore the I'm sorry. Shake therefore the incorrect impressions and march ahead joyfully. So again, forget it. Do not have any kind of bitterness in your head, in your heart, and in your head. And march and keep moving on because our destiny is to reach perfection. Our destiny is to progress. And that same applies to all of those around us, even though who might have, at some point or in a future point, do us any kind of harm. That's our conversation for today. I hope you like it. And again, Connect Radio is in several platforms, including the X platform. The interesting thing about the X platform is that you can actually leave your comments and questions, and the staff from Connect Radio will respond to those. And if you like this video or similar videos from Connect Radio, just remember to like, to click the little like icon and subscribe to the channel or follow the channel, depending on the social media that you're using to watch this. So at this moment, let's close our eyes in prayer again and thank the Lord for all the teachings that we receive, all the great things that Spiritism has provided for us. Even though we're not perfect yet, at least the knowledge allows us to proceed in a positive manner. Bless all of those who might hurt us. Bless all of those who might not have welcomed us the way we have expected. Bless their hearts and give us strength so that we should never hold any hard feelings against anyone. So be it.